What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Tarun's Thoughts. My name's Tarun Shetty. These are my thoughts. Hope you guys are doing well. It's Saturday here in Florida. I haven't really made these Tarun's Thoughts video in a while. Just wanted to check in. I came back to Florida, and I'm performing at this club called Snappers Grill in Palm Harbor. I'm just featuring. It's like the middle act. I do like 25 minutes every night, like 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, 1 Thursday. And it's been good so far. It's been fun. Every time I feature or do any time over 20 minutes, repeatedly, you just learn how to do it. Many times when I'm about to perform, I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to perform. And they call your name and you have to kind of just snap into it. Right, and it's up to you to it's how far you want to take your act, like how much time you want to put into it. I'm not a natural performer, like I'm not a storyteller. Like the way I do comedy's not easy. It's not easy. Like I have like a lot of jokes. There's a lot of memory. But it's also like as for me, it's like how do I be a real person on stage, right? There's this whole like human psychology thing for me when I'm on stage. And that's something which I learn, right? So anything you do, there's a learning curve, and I'm always learning. And I think for me, that's the appeal of stand-up, because you can do this and it's a constant learning thing. I'll probably go back to LA if anybody cares at some point. I was talking to a young comic out here, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna move to Austin. And I was like, and he's like working all over here in Florida. And I was like, why? And he goes, yeah, I just don't want to end up this like an old Florida comic. And I was like, oh, I get that. And I was like, you should definitely go. Definitely take a chance. Definitely take a risk. Sometimes I always, it's really easy to live in the past. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I never set foot in a comedy club. I have those thoughts sometimes. I wish I never set foot in a comedy club. I never did comedy. I never was even around it, but I fantasize about these different lives. Maybe that's why I like acting still, like because you can pretend to be somebody else and just pretend to, have a different existence. So I still think about that. And I was talking to Luck actually recently, and I was like, isn't it weird, man, how like life puts you in these circumstances and it kind of sets you on course. Like when I was 18, I walked into a comedy club, right, for some college orientation. And I was like, man, I just changed everything. And then after that, I was like, I'd go there every week. And I was like, man, what would have happened if I didn't walk into that comedy club? Now, granted, I was still writing comedy, like scripts and stuff, before like in high school. But like, I definitely would not have done stand-up if I hadn't walked into that comedy club. It's like these seminal moments in your life. But then I also think like, hey, you know what? Even though this is a tough course, like how many people do I get to make happy every night? So many people come up to me and they're like, hey, thank you so much for improving my day, which I guess that's something, but I don't even think about it like that, right? I used to think, man, I got to get through this time. Like that's what I'm thinking. Like I'm busy on stage, right? I think it's a lot of work. I don't think people realize how much work it takes to perform, especially like when you headline. That's a ton of work, which I still don't even feel comfortable doing sometimes. But being back in Florida, it's interesting. I don't really have many friends out here in Florida, so it's kind of depressing in that regard. But I don't have a lot of friends in LA. Actually, I do have a ton of friends in LA. But, it's just like a different life. So maybe I can go back and forth still, as I've always said. And that's it. I wish I had more to report. I'm just, out here in Florida, and, I'm going to stay here until at least April, do some more shows and and work on my other stuff on the side, right? You got to keep working. Wait, when does the work stop? You ever like ask yourself that? Like, when does the work stop? Like, when does life like just, when do you get to just coast? Like, I've never been able to just coast. Like, I had a doctor say that to a friend of mine. My friend said, yeah, he said, you got to work hard in the beginning, then you just kind of relax as you get older. As a comic, I feel like there's no relaxation. I was actually complaining to a friend of mine. I was like, is this what it is? Just constantly networking and trying to get spots for the rest of your life? Like what a life this is, right? It's just constant. Anyways, I'm not going to get too negative right now because I have a show tonight. But I hope you guys have a great day. Just checking in, and we'll talk soon. Take care.